Welcome, Capricorn. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, and I have been meditating on Uranus conjunct Venus in Gemini, freshly entered, and certainly Uranus will be in Gemini for a few months before it retrogrades back into Taurus. And in trining in a positive aspect to Pluto and Aquarius, this is giving us an opportunity to integrate our divine feminine. It exists in all individuals, all genders, or ungendered. It is a quality just like the stars that exists within all of us. So this is a time when we are thinking about what we have felt we had to sacrifice of ourselves in order to uh, obtain something else, if that's a sustainable living, a lifestyle, a appreciated goal or a desired goal or relationship, what we felt we were trained to believe we had to give up of ourselves. And I do believe that this is a time with the Gemini energy when we get to open up to new ideas and to look at new possibilities that never existed in the world before. We were conditioned out of a time that actually no longer exists. Conditions in the world have changed rapidly, and it's quite possible that we can reintegrate a skill or a talent we've always had in a bid for experiencing that and bringing that fully into the world without having to sacrifice other parts of ourselves. So that's a long preamble, Capricorn, into before your overall energy for this reading, the Knight of Pentacles, where this experience, this very spiritual experience of envisioning who you are and what you are building in a whole new light can sometimes eclipse the necessity to take one step forward. And the Knight of Pentacles energy is saying that you don't have to figure it all out. In fact, you don't have to figure it out at all. You simply need to think about your productive, practical desire to build something and what necessary movement forward is required now. In glimpsing a vision of your potential future, your abundant future, you are only necessarily focused on the step ahead, taking a step forward, taking action, but doing it in a way that is procedural, that respects your process and your need to build something that is practical, sustainable, and of value to you and others. That is what you are building towards. Underneath the deck, the Two of Pentacles is talking about precisely the bigger issue and theme of integrating former experiences into possibilities for the future, and how much that has, in hindsight, appeared to you to be the navigating over slippery sands, underwater, however you can perceive this, in my view, menstrual figure who has had to perform, to be present, to contribute to experiences that don't feel as though they were designed for them. So you are in a position where you're able to take the lessons of those experiences and put them into a new container, into a new vision that is symbolized by Uranus and Venus in trine to the Pluto in Aquarius energies. This is the brave new world, the multiple new worlds, the present communicative idea full of connection and new ideas. I'm going to pull a crystal oracle, and actually I'm going to pull this. that popped out in the beginning. And this is the dioptasy, and the key word is love. I am love, and love is me. This is really profound. Not neglecting that Uranus's move into Gemini is conjuncting Venus, that moves very quickly. And Uranus is really holding this energy of giving and receiving, self-evaluation, finding meaning in your actions, in your communications, in your connections with others, and your ability to learn and exchange those connections. This is something that is exemplifying your talents that are emerging as an expression of self-love and self-acceptance. And so this is an interesting guidepost in this reading. This is a general reading. It will not resonate for all of you. If you're interested in a personal reading, information for that is in the description box below. This is, if you find that this reading resonates for you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I always welcome your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your appreciations especially. And I thank you for all the time and energy that supports what I do. In the 10th house, this is your social identity, the way you see yourself in the world and the way others see you, the Magician. This is a pretty high calling from where you feel that you are beginning, because I do feel like you feel as though you're beginning on a fresh path. You're not on a new path, but you've refreshed your path, your approach, and your perception. And from this more holistic place that I believe you are resonating to, integrating all these lessons from the past, in which I believe many of you have felt frustrated, failed, disappointed, that you haven't been a success, that you are from a place where you are accepting yourself as already successful, already whole, already abundant, and this is completely changing the trajectory of your desires. So all that you are approaching, attempting, expressing is coming through as already an achievement, already being visible in the world through yourself, through your person, through your multiple talents, recognizing that you have all the tools necessary to put something together that expresses your love of the world, your desire to help, support, to heal, to make connections, to show others how to make connections between the past and the possible future. In the first house, the Nine of Pentacles, you are again showing your sovereignty as an individual. You are successful at, if not in the outer world of experiences, certainly you are more than successful at cultivating your own garden. That is, pursuing your own interests, developing your own resources, appreciating your experiences for the values and experiences they've given you, understanding that this is the result of having invested in yourself repeatedly, understanding that investing in yourself gives you the freedom to articulate yourself and to choose those things that are right for you. It also gives you the ability and freedom to invest in things that are in alignment with you. And so this card really is this sense of being accomplished within yourself, being accomplished as an individual. And this is your stability, your foundation from which you can experience abundance in the world. In the fourth house, This is your foundation, your home, even your soul. The Seven of Swords is really deeply understanding, confronting those areas where you haven't felt supported. And from the looks of it, many of you have found fault, criticism, disappointment in many of the situations, environments, or efforts that you've made in the past. You see the flaw, you see the failure, but ultimately you are now accepting responsibility for having ideas that have not been supported and recognizing that that is not a reflection of you. So not finding the support that you have desired, that you have asked for, is really now you're seeing as not a problem, as actually a feature of having innovative, unconventional ideas, or having an understanding of how to achieve success in a way that is provocative to others, that challenges others' sense of stability or security. And as a result of that, you now understand that we simply don't look for support where it can't, or won't be given. We don't doubt our ideas or doubt our efforts or abandon our efforts as a result of that. And now you're understanding how perhaps in the past you have abandoned very successful efforts because of the resistance you encountered. And you internalized that resistance in a way that was very harmful to you and really undermined your sense of capacity and abundance. In the seventh house of significant others, the Seven of Cups. This is interesting because I do sense that you are dipping into former relationships, desires, opportunities, and you're exploring them as opportunities to learn where the success was. Instead of seeing things as a series of disappointments and failures, you're recognizing that you've gained something from each failure, from each disappointment. And in fact, that's the point. This looks particularly relevant for those of you that are understanding your relationship life, your connection, deeper connections that have, for many of you, been in some way unsuccessful. And you're understanding that you were chasing something that your significant others were chasing as well, and that is the real you. There's something here about never stepping forward with your desires, never claiming or attempting to claim or name what you wanted for fear of abandonment. And this is a theme that came up in Sagittarian's relationship as well. And that may be relevant to you. There's a feeling here that you had to hide yourself from yourself because of your lack of trust in others. And now you're realizing that the exploration, the revival of yourself as an authentic human being is really the goal of so many of your relationships, and that is the seed of success in relationships. Being who you are, being real, naming that, claiming that, and using that as the basis for the deeper connection that was always there. It's not as though you weren't a real person showing up in relationships, but there was something, some way in which you pulled back at the 11th hour and never felt like you could truly trust who was engaging you, or you felt that somehow you had to give up something to enter in a relationship, and you were never really willing to do that. So that has been more than a double-edged sword for you. You're now understanding that you are your highest love. And by displaying that, by inhabiting that self, abundant love, romantic love, deeper connection, spiritual love is abundant in your life. I'm going to clarify, starting with the first house, your perception, your sense of sovereignty in who you are, and the investment in yourself you've made, clarified by the Page of Pentacles in the second house and the Two of Swords in the third house. So you have invested, you have created. What you feel your greatest wealth is your vision, is the dream that you have of abundance, of productivity, of efficiency. You want to be a place where you feel free to be productive, to be your own agent. And somehow this has eluded you in the past. You felt blocked in this way. You felt as though you had to choose working for someone else versus working for yourself. And this has been not necessarily a false dichotomy, but it has been an illusion that you have had difficulty looking at honestly, seeing the emergence of the two paths, the two roads, as being one that in fact you never chose, that was you chose before you even entered this world. You chose your path before you came here, and that everything you've done has been an effort to learn the necessary tools to activate that gift, that mission in this life. And by accepting who you are, by cultivating who you are, you're actually gaining that vision in a way that you have never been able to perceive it before. It is through who you are, through your resources, that you're able to be productive in a way that serves you and others. And this particular Uranus-Gemini placement in conjunction with Venus is very much looking at the values that you have in terms of integrating your desires into your experience in the world, not bifurcating this dream that you want to pursue and this life you have to live, because the two don't come together. So Uranus and Gemini is really activating your desire for deeper connection, but deeper connection that is a commitment to working together with others for the same goals. And if you don't name or show who you are, and you don't name or claim what you desire, it's very difficult to engage others to work towards that. And you're now understanding how you have given up on yourself in the past in a way that was premature, but yielded valuable experiences showing you success that is relatively easy for you to achieve. There's a lot more here. Let's move on. The Seven of Swords is clarified in the fourth house by the Hangman in the fifth house, and the Eight of Pentacles in the sixth house. So yes, your creative process, your creative fuel relies upon your perspective. It relies upon your exploration of new ideas, opening up to new perceptions, exploring new possibilities. This is essential to your ability to activate who you are, to letting who you are flow through the work that you do. And so this feels as though it's very connected to those of you that have an artistic profession, or that some craft that is fueled by your own inner process, your own wellness. The story that you need to tell is one about your gaining perspective, You're understanding that in order to successfully combine the resources at your disposal, that you really need to understand what your purpose is, to understand the abundance in your environment rather than the lack of abundance, the things that you have to give up, the things you can't have. And that's what helps to put you into this productive trance, I believe, that is very characteristic of Capricorn. This doing, this crafting, building, growing, perfecting, improving, polishing, this constant endeavor that requires discipline, work ethic, commitment to staying the course that is building towards your success, a success that you're now understanding you've always had within you. But there's a clarity about that in a way that is not battling the sense of impoverishment, that you can't have what you want, that what you want is for other people. Other people always get the good things. That's a story for some of the Capricorns I'm reading for that has been your story. And you're really reshaping that, refashioning that. And I believe you're experiencing yourself as a really different kind of person during this time of even great social chaos and change, that this is handleable. You have been through this before many times. This is nothing compared to some of the times you've lived through, perhaps in this life and in other lives. The Seven of Cups in the 7th house is clarified by the Death card in the 8th house and the Devil card in the 9th house. Well, here you go. And you show up in the place of your most cherished spiritual values and dreams. For many of you, your presentation to the public has needed to be retooled from the ground up. You've had to let go of this entitlement to some kind of notoriety or credit or packaged success that you believe was an automatic reflection of some kind of inner success. And that story now is bankrupt for you as you understand that the real success comes from unleashing the passion of who you are, unleashing your authenticity, no longer hiding that, shielding that, covering that up with a self-pity or a woeful story or narrative of what you haven't been able to accomplish and what you don't have. You've actually released this idea that you're supposed to be anything. You're only understanding that your success comes and your visibility comes from being who you are. It's almost like turning yourself inside out rather than adding on these layers that appear to have masked your real accomplishments, thoughts, beliefs in the past. I hope that makes sense to you. But this really feels like a coming to your own power and acceptance of your power. Perhaps that is the thing that was the most frightening of all for you, that evoked the most fear, the amount of power that you could manifest in ways that didn't feel satisfying or real to you. In the 10th house, the Magician card is clarified by the Page of Wands in the 11th house and the Justice card in the 12th house. Yeah, there's all this newness. We've got 2 pages here. really talking about this openness, the Seven of Cups, the openness to the possibilities. When you come from a place of just who you are, you start there rather than all the accomplishments, the education, the connections that you had or wished you had that are not necessary. You have all that you need. You know who you need to know. You have the goals, you have the support and the education to pursue those. Coming from a place of just who you are, recognizing the work that you've already done. You've already earned your success, your abundance, your justice, and your ability to step into that place of recognizing that you're not a victim, that you, in fact, are powerful, incredibly powerful, and that that power is nothing to be feared, but that you are now in a place of balancing those experiences of feeling underneath the wheel to allowing yourself to float comfortably, authentically, with humility to the top. And this is an unexpected justice from whatever perspective or situation you're coming from at this time. I'm going to pull a seed and sickle card for you to finish up this reading and hope you've gained some insight along the way. And I pulled the holly. I like pulling cards I haven't pulled before. The holly is number 47, reducing down to an 11 card, which, depending on the kind of deck you have, is either the strength or the justice card. In this deck, it is the justice card, and really feels like a vindication of some sort for many of you. So I have found the holly, or I thought I had, and it reads, like the lightning forks of a holly branch, you stand at a fork in the road, a decision before you. Which path will lead you where you want to go, and which may lead you to an unexpected destination or lead you astray. You're running out of time to make your choice, but know that once you've chosen your path, there's no turning back. Make sure you've thought this through carefully. I like that. So, if you've enjoyed this content, there's more here. And until next time, Capricorn, namaste.